I was in a tech startup that kind of suddenly came to a halt. More and more people were saying, hey, we really want you to find co-living deals for us.
For a person like that, you're saying that you can put a deal together. She just has to obviously fund it, and everything is kind of done for you service?
Yeah, so that's what we do with clients right now. We're finding great deals on the market, anywhere from like 15 to 20% cash on cash return.
Welcome everyone to another episode of the Investor Deli Podcast, where we make the information a star. And today we have a good friend of mine, Jonah Platovsky. Jonah, what's going on? How are you?
What's up? I'm doing great.
Good. Awesome.
Nothing better.
I love it. First, I want to ask, what part of the world are you in now?
I am in Tel Aviv in Israel. I've been here for about a month, and I'll be here for another month. I've been working here this summer. It's been a good, fun experience.
I love it. Yeah, because we were texting back and forth a while ago, and you happened to be in New York. So, I'm based out of New York. So I try to connect with you. We try to connect, but it didn't happen. And that's why I asked, because I know you get around.
Yeah, I'll be back in New York. Hopefully not there. It's nice.
That's sweet. Yeah, Pace is actually here today. So we're going to go meet up with him today in New Jersey and Hoboken. So that's going to be awesome.
Nice. Sweet.
Yeah. Jonah, let's get right into it. What are you doing in the real estate space? I like to tell people, I like to start off with some wins, whatever win it is, whatever you feel good about what's going on in your life. I like to kind of bring that to the table. I think it makes people feel comfortable. So tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe some of the successes that you've gone in the real estate space.
Yeah, I started kind of in the real estate space about 2.5 years ago. Built an initial wholesale business, and then it shifted to a dispo only business. Did just over 100 deals in 2 years, like about 75 deals in the last year. That was a great win. Kind of coming full circle just over the last year, switching that to the dispo business and really seeing a lot of success with that. And that business took me to where I am today because, as we were selling deals to people, whether they were creative or cash, or whatever structure people were looking for, we noticed increasingly, particularly in the last couple of months, more and more people were saying, hey, we really want you to find co-living deals for us because, the co-living strategy was doing super well. They were getting a lot of cash flow from it. There's a lot of need for it in the US economy right now, and other strategies just weren't penciling for them, right? They were seeing short-term rental get oversaturated, long-term rentals really have no cash flow. Midterm rental, hard to scale. Section 8 has its own problems. So they said, hey, like co-living is what we're going all in on. So, we decided to go all in on co-living as well with our business. And that has taken us in a couple directions, one of which is we are building an offer, or we have built an offer where we do a done-for-you process, helping, investors who don't really want to spend the time, who are high income earners, to get into the co-living space. We help them find a deal, close on a deal, convert the deal, and rent it out with a platform like PadSplit, helping them from beginning to end. And the biggest win, which we're really excited about, is our kind of SaaS deal product, which is coming out next week. And that is basically an aggregated source of both on-market and off-market deals that are, pre-vetted and pre-analyzed for co-living possibility, because the biggest bottleneck in the space right now for sure is deal flow. And however we can get deal flow in the hands of investors who are going to grow and accelerate the co-living space is how we make this industry get as big as possible. So the most exciting win is, still under wraps and not official yet, but we're in talks with PadSplit to have more of an official partnership with them, where we're working almost directly or closely with them and their clients to help their people, buyers, leads find deals. So it's going to be a marketing, branding partnership. But I'll keep those details secret until we get more clarity on it. But that's a win. We're really excited to help grow the space with the biggest players that are out there.
That's awesome. Shout out to your mom, Jill. She's amazing. I know she has a lot to do with this as well. So salute to mom as well. I like to ask, my wife is she's a nurse. She's a career nurse. It's what she does. That's her lane. Investing is not her thing. Like what I do is not her thing. for a person like that, you're saying that you can put a deal together. She just has to obviously fund it, and everything is kind of done for her, done for you service.
Yeah, so that's what we do with clients right now. I mean, we can take from a different for more of like the done for you. We're not going to really manage a full rehab per se, right? Ones that's like is like a wholesale deal that needs a ton of gut work, but we're finding great deals on the market. Anywhere from like 15 to 20% cash on cash return. You probably need to put in all in around 100K to get into that. You might be making 1,500 to 2,000 a month of net cash flow every month, and yeah, we do everything. So we have in-house TC, transaction coordination to close, and deal with a lot of the stuff that people don't like, which is dealing with contractors. I know you're in the that's your field, so I don't think you'd have a problem with that.
For sure.
But navigating the deal piece and coordinating people to go back and forth and making sure something works, and just even to get something like vetted and where we're comfortable showing to a client. It's not just like, hey, let's pull something from the MLS and just like send it to someone. It's like, we're getting feedback from an on the ground team. We're looking at a lot of stuff that comes every day, both on and off market. We're having people go there, review the layout, develop a new floor plan, confirm the bedroom count, confirm the co-living potential. Then we do like a final underwriting process. Then we put it in front of a client. And then if they're interested in that, then we can move forward with, an offer or better structure for it. So everything has a little bit more work than always it seems on the surface.
No, absolutely. To put these deals together, it takes a lot of pieces to come together at once, but it's awesome for investors who are out there, future investors. This is a great avenue, a great opportunity to get into real estate on your first deal. And with this model, I believe is the best model at present time, because what Jonah mentioned about the affordability crisis and the economics, kind of where everyday workforce Americans lie today, it's a struggle. So you can make an impact on as an investor, and you're providing a service for people to have a safe place to live at. Can you go into more about the co-living model itself, more on the holistic side and what it is and what's the service you're going to provide?
Yeah. So the biggest, I guess, like the big picture of co-living is it's a rent by room model. So I mean, there's a few variations of co-living, and it has like a lot of. It's not this is not the first time it's being done. It's been done for as far back as humans have lived together, probably.
That's right.
As it relates to real estate, the best example I think comes from like the late 1800s, early 1900s in the U.S. And they had something called boarding houses in big cities. It was an opportunity for people who were younger or people who were kind of like new, moving to a city, looking for work opportunities to go and have an opportunity to live there, but they didn't have necessarily the means to own an apartment or rent a full apartment for themselves. So they went and got a cheaper option in these cities. And over time, that became, less popular. They became a bit dangerous. The government changed a lot of the regulations and zoning to support single family houses as people moved to the suburbs, and it became outlawed over time. But as the kind of U.S. economy becomes a little bit more unaffordable for young people, the model's coming back. So effectively what people are doing are taking, in terms of the way we look at co-living, right? There's a few models. There's people who are doing it more on the multifamily scale. There's bigger companies like Common and Bungalow, and there's a few other big names that do co-living, and they might, just build or rehab a multi-unit building and have common spaces. But the way we look at co-living from an investment perspective right now is taking single family houses, typically at least 1,500, 1,750 or 2,000 square feet, converting those 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom houses into maybe 7, 8 or even more bedrooms. That typically means splitting extra rooms. If it's like a master bedroom, splitting that into 2, converting a living room, converting a dining room, really maximizing the space that isn't really being maximally used in the case of a single family who's in there, right? So if you can convert all these bedrooms and you have 7 to 8 different people living in a house, sharing some bathrooms and sharing common spaces, you can support lots of different people who need the affordable room because those rooms are often 30 to 40% cheaper than an apartment in that market. You can support lots of these people and at the same time make a lot more cash flow than you would just renting that out to a single family. So that's what the co-living model is. It's as simple as just a rent by room model. And it really is relevant right now because investors are looking for more cash flow. They're looking for opportunities to find deals that actually work. And renters are looking for rooms and living opportunities that are cheaper and affordable in their budgets. So it's a perfect match of the marketplace right now. And we are really excited about the direction it's going, over the next couple of years.
I love that. And the opportunities you're providing with your service, are these nationwide or you are specified locations?
So yeah, so I mean, for now, the way we have our service and kind of our deal sourcing structured is following the PadSplit model. So for people who are not familiar, PadSplit is effectively the biggest Airbnb type marketplace in the co-living space. So in the past, investors weren't able to they weren't able to find the data and kind of have someone do the tenant sourcing and kind of tenant management for them. Now they can use a platform like this. They have about 25,000 units on their platform. You can go see the zip codes that they operate in, see how much money you'll make, and effectively understand the deal. So we really like to follow the PadSplit markets. Their biggest market is Atlanta. They're also pretty popular in Dallas, Houston, Jacksonville, Tampa. I think about 30 core markets they have in the US. So we are really pushing people into the PadSplit model as of now, because we just think it's the fastest growing platform. It has the most, transparency in terms of how the deal will underwrite, right? You don't have to do a lot of guessing. You can see exactly like how much you'll make depending on where your property is and depending on the quality of the property. And they provide a more comprehensive service in terms of searching for tenants and dealing with some of those problems.
I love the leverage. That's going to be my next question. Leveraging the PadSplit model, they already are where they are, whatever markets they at. They have the data, so you can source it as well and comp off of it to see if these deals make. So I love the easy button. I like you kind of figured out, connect the dots for people. So that's super dope. Jonah, I know in business, it's all not peaches and cream. There's always struggles. You're a young guy. What problems have you encountered? What pitfalls have you grown for, and lessons in those losses that some people see as losses, but they're lessons, right? And we've all had them, right? Some bigger than others. What would you care to share any of those, and how have you grown from them?
Yeah. Oh, I feel like there's definitely more than the wins, but that's how it goes, right? You stack up the issues and
I like to say that L's, they turn into W's.
Oh, that's actually a good one. So you have like the
L's, they all stack up and they end up being a W.
That's how it goes. Like you can't, it's like you can't trade. You need whether you're spiritual or religious or nothing, it's like you're pushed in the direction of where you need to be, and it's like the pitfalls and the obstacles are there for you to like always improve in some area, and like always in retrospect, I've recognized that. In the moment, you're always like, this is not super fun to deal with. And it's really just about like kind of being detached and being calm with it. But with that said, the first thing that I've had a couple, I mean, pre-real estate, I was in a tech startup that kind of suddenly came to a halt. Like we had funding that was supposed to close. An investor backed out for a variety of reasons, like literally at the closing table about a week before, after a multi-month long due diligence period, pretty much ending the company. We ran out of money. We needed the money. We ran out of money within 2 weeks. And that was a full layoff. And that, was like, wow, in the moment, definitely one of the most stressful times of my life. I didn't really know what to do. It was, we had invested a lot of time and energy and just focus in this thing. And it became a super kind of overall stressful endeavor. But that shakeup led to me starting to work with my space, because otherwise I definitely wouldn't have made it into this real estate industry at all. So that's like the first kind of symbol of, it all just really works out, and you all end up, it doesn't look right in the time, and it doesn't seem smart in the time or logical in the time, but it flows correctly. So that was the first one that definitely pops up in the business side of things. The next one was right first in real estate, where we started the wholesale business. We were doing lots of deals to different types of buyers, right? Short-term rental buyers, wrap buyers, long-term rental buyers. And there was a group of wrap buyers that had emerged on the scene. And if people don't know what wraps are, they're effectively taking house subject to seller finance that has an underlying mortgage rate of, maybe 3, 4, 5%. And then you go out, and once you buy that, you find a homestead buyer that can't qualify for a mortgage, and you mortgage the house to them for 8 to 10%. So you're making a small spread in that difference. And this group of wrap buyers, basically, they weren't really running an illegal scheme, but they were totally over leveraged and in above their heads. And we had wholesaled a few deals to them. And, after racking up tons and tons of deals that they weren't able to find buyers for, they defaulted on everything. So, we had to come get ourselves in the middle and kind of clean up a lot of things. And, it taught us that you have to vet people in the real estate space super well. Even with lots of trusted people behind them and look like they're running a legitimate operation and people raising capital for them, it really fell apart. So it was a good lesson for me entering the space that, not everything is as it seems. And if it seems too good to be true, it probably is.
It is.
And, it always is, and I just saw a guy in a group, like a WhatsApp group, and he was like, oh, I can get you, if you put this money into this deal, I'll get you 100% return. And in like 2 weeks.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed. Like, as soon as you see that, it's just a little, you have to really know what you're doing. And that's why I think a lot of people don't, there's a lot of great operators out there. I mean, I can name a ton of people that have multi 8-figure lending operations that are scaled. And I'm sure who those people are as well, but they run really tight ships and they run really great things. And they promise investors, 10 to 12% return on their money. And they deliver, right? They know what they're doing. They deliver consistently, but you have to be careful, and you have to really go with vetted operators, and you have to ask around. And this was a good first lesson with that for me. Otherwise, what else? There's always things, small things in business, partnerships. I'm trying to remember. I feel like there's so many things. What else?
And there's more.
There's always more, right? You deal with a partner here, deal with someone else there. Deal with, tons of every deal has a story, right? We did about 100 deals, and I can name 0 that are actually smooth. And the ones that are smooth, we actually our only smooth one ever actually ended up it was supposed to close, then had a small delay. It did close. And then right after closing, the buyer found out that there was a lawsuit. The previous seller had been sued, and the house was part of the transaction. This was a subject to deal. So, every deal has a story. There are always pitfalls, but it's like you kind of just get through it, and you just keep chugging along.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to anticipate, right? I love to anticipate. Again, we call it real estate investing, business investing. I call it problem solving, right? It's something that's right around the corner. The next problem is right around the corner. So it's best to be prepared where something happens, you don't get discouraged, right? You're not overwhelmed by it. Like, oh my God, what do I do? Right? Get caught up in that why me stuff. But anticipate, I love, being in business for a while, anticipate something. And when it does happen, if it happens, you're not discouraged. You already thought about it. You may have a plan already in place, right? And again, you ready to execute and move forward. And it's like a stock ticker. The stock ticker goes up, goes down, goes up. Most of the time, 70% it goes up, 75%. So that's part of the ride.
Yeah, for sure. Pace says that in a good way. Is that like tons of people would trade to be in the position that you're in now, right? It's like you look back and you asked for the work, right? You asked for the success. And this is the stuff that comes with the success, is all of the issues along the way. So it's like, would you rather have nothing going on or a bunch of problems that you need to solve?
Dude, you're so right on that ask. Let me tell you a story. I just years ago when I had this, I bought this small multifamily in Jersey. I just had it for about 2-3 weeks. I closed on it. I was returning back to college. I had aspirations of being a nurse, but I had to start from the beginning. I was out of school for so long, so I had to do remedials and stuff. So I'm literally parking. It was about 4:00. I'm parking. I'm going to a school in downtown Brooklyn. And I remember reversing and my phone rang. So I parked, I answered the phone, and one of the tenants was hysterical because the bathroom was over flooding. The toilet was over flooding. So I'm like,
Fun.
literally, I just parked, right? And I took the call. And I'm like, oh my God, this is nuts. It's my first day of school, and this person is hysterical about it didn't know how to, the water didn't stop, right? So I got it. So I had to make the decision. This is what you wanted. Literally, I said to myself, this is going back to what you said. I said, this is what you wanted, right? So I just put the car on drive and got out of there. You know, I missed my first day of school just to problem solve. And one of the kids threw like a hairspray top in the toilet and it got stuck in there. So yeah, it's part of the game, right?
It is. And look where you are now.
No, it's amazing, those journeys that like you said, you make the decision, hey, this is what you wanted. I'm actually so fortunate to be in that position to be like, hey, I could do this as well. But that's so dope. I'm glad for the wisdom that you dropped and the experiences, right? That matters. People need to hear the tribulations and the struggles and how you just face adversity and keep chugging away, right? Just keep chugging and chugging. And eventually things will turn, and you have that faith that it will. And you align yourself with the right tribe. Call it the vibe tribe, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, beyond
that,
I would say like the biggest thing is just like keeping a good pattern of focus. Like that's something I'm working on a lot right now, is like wherever you direct your energy to is just going to be how things turn out. And it's easy, I think increasingly easy to just be, you know, if you're not in a good positive state of mind and waking up and, you know, starting your day with a positive state of mind, it's easy to worry about the problems and the issues. And there's going to be always more issues and more things to worry about. And it's like, no, like success is definite, you know, the outcome is definite, and it just might take longer than you expect. But if you keep the attitude along those lines, it's, you get there.
Yeah. I like to pay my future self by doing the right things now, going back to staying on focus and staying on point. You got to kind of figure out what works for you. So everyone has their own journey, but if you're in that space of positivity, you'll get there. Jonah, let's get into my funnest episode. I call the makings of a hero. This is where we dream and we vision cast, and we're like, yo, this is where I want to do. This is where I want to be. You know, as a kid, you have so many dreams, and somebody asks you, what do you want to do? You always have an answer quick, and you're so enthused about it. So I like to bring that feeling back. And what do you want to be at, and what do you want to accomplish in the space in the next couple of years?
Yeah. Well, when I was a kid, just wanted to be an NFL owner. That was my, I wanted to own the team. And it's still, you know, we still can get there.
I love that.
But
the Cowboys?
I don't know I don't know. Honestly, I always said like a decent market team with a good fan base, but it's also not doing so well. So you want to put yourself in a position where you can become like the hero, right? You know, you don't want to take over a successful team because you'll always just be like, have a lot to live up to. But if you take over a team that has, you know, fans that are excited about,
downtrodden, have been losing for a while.
Yeah, and you come in, you turn around.
They can't figure it out. Like the Cleveland Browns. You know,
the Browns are haunted. I think. I don't think you can say the Browns, but that doesn't count.
I love that.
But what do I want to do now? That keeps evolving. A big piece of Owners Club is, you know, the mentorship that we're in together with Pace and a few other real estate people is really focused on the Mount Everest. Like, what's your 5-year goal that makes you become a different person? And this definitely keeps evolving for me. And I'll give like the ambiguous answer now that it's still like, I don't like to define it super clearly right now because it's changing a lot, but it's increasingly moving more and more towards just the overall affordable housing space. Because I like to like think from first principles, and it's like, what am I where can I make a big impact? What am I excited about? And, you know, obviously where can I succeed as well? And where has like sharp operators working in it? And, you know, this space is the biggest, I think, one of the biggest issues facing particularly the US, but the world right now. I don't see a way out of it. You know, you see lots of trending graphs that are the amount of people 30 who are homeowners and married has gone, you know, substantially lower. The price to get a house versus your income the ratio is way higher than it's ever been, you know, and everything's only getting more expensive, right? Like, we're printing money, houses are going up, land's going up, construction's going up. So it's like, well, and AI is coming in. I mean, on top of that, All the recent studies increasingly, particularly over the last couple of months, have shown that the last two graduating classes, of kids from college are the most underemployed or unemployed that they've ever been in the last like 50 years. So it's it makes sense, right? Like, AI might not be there to take over all of our jobs yet, but it's taking over marketing analyst and social media manager and things that people would go and make, 60, 70, 80, 90K coming out of college. And that can be done, with $100 a month subscription. So what do those people do? What do the people of my generation and, my brother's just entering college this year, like, what is he going to do? So, housing is a big piece of that. And there's lots of solutions. Co-living is, I think, only one of those pieces. It's a big one, but people are getting super innovative. There's modular homes, container homes, cheaper construction. There's ways to there's improvements in the way we're financing things. There's just more improvements to make it so that the American, workforce and economy can grow. So I just want to increasingly build in this space. We're starting with like our kind of two kind of signature offers, getting investors in, because it's all about having investors in to provide those opportunities for renters, both on like the concierge side and then on the more like do-it-yourself deal access side. But I just want to keep building in the space, build a portfolio of companies that are tangential to these niches. The initial plans are potentially exploring like a roll-up of property management companies, lending, sourcing, contractor type companies that are the key core tenants to making this industry succeed, copying off what happened with the Airbnb landscape over the last 10 years. But yeah, that's generally the direction I want to go. I know the Mount Everest is supposed to be like one sentence and keep it super clean and simple, but I'd say in the last 3 months, it just continues to evolve so substantially for me that it's hard to just put it into one sentence. And maybe by October, when we have our board meeting, the next Owners Club in-person event, I'll have that a little bit more dialed in.
No, for sure. You have a strong basis, a strong foundation, right? It's just now, tighten it up, and it's your Mount Everest. So you'll figure it out and how it works for you, right? I've had one. I've changed mine, so I can tell you from experience. Me personally, I kind of 86 what I had before. I just didn't feel like it was mine. I didn't. I created something and all the principles were correct. Everything made sense. It was very mission based, but at the end, it didn't feel like it was mine, right? It's kind of just the easiest way to describe it. And mine is still in the works, but I do have the ending. I'm just filling in now, reverse engineering it and kind of tightening up in the front. But I do have like my ending and the why, right? So that's always been strong. But yeah, again, give yourself permission to always kind of figure it out. And like I said, you already have a strong base and foundation. It's not just bullseye in the target. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good point. I mean, it definitely has to be aligned because I think, it's easy to catch both ends. And, on the mistake you can make on the front end is just thinking way too small and be like, I want to build a wholesale business to get a few, like, it's just not big enough, right? If that's where you're shooting for the moon is that, then like, even if you land among the stars, okay, great, you're doing 20 deals a month, but that's not where you want to be. You want to be even bigger than that. And if your thing is too not big but too ambiguous, it's almost disconnected from what you're doing in the present, and there's like almost no easy path to get there. So yeah, I think that continues to evolve and figure out how to think big within. How does the stuff you're working on now like lead to the the more grander picture that you have for your life?
Absolutely. I remember being in a breakout room with Doran. Shout out to Doran. And it was small groups that were broken up into, and we were just starting to kind of formulate our Mount Everest. And I just remember somebody said something, and then he replied, "You're thinking too small, right? Why not?" I forgot what it was, but he said, "Why not 10,000?" Right? The person I said 10, like 10 houses for whatever mission they wanted to be. He said, "Why not 10,000?" Right? Make it like wow, this is a real big goal and dream. If it's a dream and something you want to put it out there, right? Literally put it out there. You're gonna expend the same amount of energy, right? You're gonna get nervous, whatever it is. You're gonna have all these issues. why not have them at a bigger scale, right?
Yeah.
So that's a lesson.
We're just shielding. I mean, most of the things we're just shielding ourselves from like potential future embarrassment, right? Is like as soon as you put your goal out there, then you have the haters that come around and say, "Oh yeah, you didn't do it," or you're afraid. But like, who cares? Like anyone that's hating you don't care about their opinion,
dude.
So.
Touching on that, I had I worked in healthcare for a long time, and I had an employee one time, a coworker, and I told them it was actually the wrong person me telling my goals and my dreams, but hey, whatever. And I told him what I want to do, and it was like 7 years later, I'm still at the job, and he mentioned it. Yeah, I remember you said you was gonna do this and this, whatever, and you're still here, right? So I took it. I said, okay, I see you listening. I'm glad that you paid attention. I appreciate that you paid attention to me
too, so I don't need.
Yeah. I'm so glad that you paid attention, right? That touche. I got something for you. So then he ended up getting fired from the job because he always said, I hate my job. I hate my job. So he actually brought it to existence and he ended up getting fired. So I left my job and I told my friend who was friends with this guy, I said, yo, go tell homeboy that I left the job, right? Because I wanted him to know, So again, I thanked him for remembering. And I wanted to thank him back by me keeping my promise that I did leave, right? So
yeah, that was your motivator.
It was not the motivator, but it was a piece of it, right? Because I was already on that mission. He was just a fuel stop where when I gassed up and got some more fuel, right? So yeah, I love those. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Like I said, that was kind of something that happened to me personally. So Jonah, again, you're dope. I love what's going on with you. I love what you're building. Where can people connect with you? Where can people reach out to you? And I also know you're starting a podcast.
Yeah, I was going to say that. You mean my message this morning. And I was going to mention as part of my alignment. But yeah, I guess you can find me. I'll explain in a second. You can find me on Instagram at Jonah.Platovsky. Same thing on YouTube. Those are my main channels right now. And I hang out in some Facebook groups as well if you're in the real estate investing community. So find me there. My podcast. Yeah, so I had been thinking more about it and said, hey, I always wanted to start it. And I see it, I want to, for a combination of reasons. One, I want to have interaction opportunities with people I look up to, people that are ahead of me, people that can be guests. And I think that's always a great opportunity to have those on, just converse with them and, share insights both back and forth instead of just saying, hey, can I pick your brain? No one likes that. You're giving someone opportunity in exchange for them, getting another platform to share to your audience. You get to have a discussion with them. And I think it's a great mutual exchange of value. And that's why podcasts work. So again, thanks for having me on this one. And I've been thinking more and more about like what I want that to look like. And I think there's a lot of niche down ones, and I'm figuring out how to like differentiate a little bit. And the thing that interests me the most is really forward thinking trends wise, right? Like I love trends and understanding what's happening over the next, 5 to 10 years, both from fundamental levels, like the thing I mentioned before, more people are unmarried, more people are single, the income levels are problems, or both from a technology perspective, AI is here, robots are improving, new startups are coming to the scene to change the way things are going, preferences are changing. So how do those things combine, and what do the people that are both leaders in our communities and people who are on the ground, like, what do they see? So that's really where I want to be, where I want to keep the theme around. So I'll be starting that soon, and definitely attacking from like the real estate niche, particularly co-living. Maybe some of like these modular home investing trends, some of the data trends that are out there, and keeping it really forward thinking, right? Like, what are we looking to the future? How can we invest into these trends? How do we prepare for these trends? What do we just think about it? Maybe it's just interesting. So super excited to get that going. If you're a potential guest for that, feel free to reach out on those socials that I mentioned before, Instagram and YouTube, where I put most of my content, and excited to connect with with lots of people. Always feel assured to just cold message, because have made some great connections just from that happening, and people being shameless and just making the move.
That's awesome. That's dope. I look forward to being a guest. I do love the podcasting space as well. It's like compounding a relationship, right? You just take it to many levels and you get to build up. I didn't know this. Now I know that, right? So it's just building on the relationship. So that's kind of why I also enjoy and love it. So yeah, Jonah, again, thank you for coming. We appreciate you, and we'll see you soon on our next journey again. Take care.
Thanks a lot. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me.
Peace.